On this episode of Mike Colameco's Real Food, we'll go old school and visit a great Neapolitan-inspired restaurant. I've always wanted to make this, so now's my chance.
You got it.
These days, the chef is Sal Scognamillo, cooking from recipes his grandfather created half a century ago. We need a big plate for this.
This is going to be a very nice dish. Ready?
Yeah. Then Sal and I will whip up the dish that kept their most famous patron coming back year after year. I'm going to do it Sinatra style. It's all coming up next. I'm Mike Colameco, chef and food lover. Come with me and meet some of today's most interesting chefs and their crews that work in their kitchens. Real chefs, real restaurants, and real recipes. That's what's on the menu. This is Mike Colameco's Real Food. We're on 56th Street between 7th and 8th Ave, outside of Patsy's. Man, the restaurant's been here for like 60 years. I love this place. Old school Neapolitan, straight up solid Italian food. If this place was in Brooklyn and it was run by two guys with beards and long hair who smoked a lot of pot and had tattoos, the press would be all over it. But no, it's actually a third generation Italian family doing what they've always done. Really cool food, good hospitality. Thank God they own the building because they're going to be here a while. That's the story. Patsy's. I'm heading in. Three generations.
That's right.
60, how many years ago?
67 years.
67 years. Talk a bit about, because the restaurant's name comes from your dad.
My father was. His name was Pasquale. On Ellis Island, they couldn't pronounce it. In 1923, put a little sticker on him called Patsy, and he assumed that was the translation. So he stayed with the name, and everybody got to know him as Patsy. He was an all-around man. And when I came growing up, I took his place in the kitchen. I was the chef for 40 years. My new chef is my son, 26 years, Salvatore.
Talk a little bit about the dishes.
The recipes, they're all brought here. My father taught me, and they're as original as they could be from Naples. He tried to keep everything just the way it was then. We soak the beans, it's all fresh vegetable. He wants to recreate what he had as a boy, and he did. I followed in suit, and now Sal's doing the same thing for me. We're recreating what our parents gave to us.
Here with Sal, the third generation, father of what I am guessing is going to be the fourth generation, but we'll hold our hats on that and save that for another show.
Yeah.
Talk a bit about, Patsy, your memories, because you were actually lucky enough to remember him. A lot of us don't remember our grandparents because we were really little when they passed.
Very, very lucky. I got to see him the most of all my four grandparents. I was about 22 when he passed away. And he actually got to see me working as the chef. I took over in January of '85. Grandpa had retired in about 1979, 1980. I remember the last time that I saw him here at Patsy's. He came to visit. So the whole family was here. We're waiting for him to pull up in the car. And this was mid-1985. And the car pulls up, and we're all excited, and we're all there with this collective hug to give Grandpa, and he walks right past us. He goes downstairs, he goes into the kitchen, and he goes into one of the refrigerated walk-ins. What was he doing? He was checking to see if I was still buying the same veal and everything else. Yes. And now that he saw it, he came up, he said, now I can say hello, and he gave us a hug and a kiss. He was so happy to make people happy. That's what he liked to do. He would go around in the dining room in a little gray jacket, and he would refill the water glasses, he would refill the bread baskets, and my father would say, Pop, what are you doing? Why don't you, dress like you're the owner? He says, because if I look like the owner, then people are going to be afraid to ask me to fill their water glass. They're going to be intimidated to ask for more bread. And he was about service. He wanted to make people happy. He thought of Patsy's as his home. He just had a bigger dining room, and you were a guest in his home.
Thank you. Pleasure to have you, brother.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. We're going to make your favorite dish.
Every time I eat here, what's my first course?
You have stuffed calamari.
It's ridiculous. I don't know why, because it reminds me of my grandma. It reminds me of flavors of home, and it's such a pain in the neck to make. I'm never doing this at home. So I want the recipe. I want you to show me how you do this. For those winter days when I'm completely bored, I'm in Cape, Maine, I got nothing to do, and I'm like, stuffed calamari, Patsy style.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
So what do I have here? This is the filling.
I have some chopped up shrimp, lobster, crab meat, and a little bit of clams. And
Okay.
this is chopped up cooked calamari,
Okay.
raisins, pinoles, some onions.
I've always wanted to make this, so now's my chance.
You got it. So now I got a big pot. I'll put some olive oil in there with the onions.
These onions out, no color.
Get them nice and soft. Yes,
That's all.
exactly. We put in all our seafood. Now, if you like different seafood, you want to put in different seafood, you can. This is just our recipe. Again, it's shrimp, calamari,
No little
clams.
lobster.
Calamari is the main ingredient, though. The other stuff is good flavor.
And this is the calamari that's been cooked for a while.
We've already cooked that calamari
Yeah.
a little bit,
Yeah.
so it's soft.
Yeah.
All those juices, all that flavor marries. You get that nice and soft, and make sure it cooks. And we put some white wine in there. I've got here a little fish broth, which I made by just boiling some clams.
Yeah. It's funny, it's such a great flavor, isn't it? Just clam broth.
The best flavor.
Tastes like the ocean.
The best flavor. And you know, you're going to have a little salt and pepper on this, but there is a little bit of salt
Got
in it.
a lot
so
of
you
salt
gotta
in
be careful.
that.
You got to be careful.
Add the raisins.
Classic raisin. And the pine nuts, pinoles.
Yeah. Southern Italian touch.
Like everything else, a little fresh parsley. A little butter. That just gives it a nice smooth flavor. Then bring that to a boil. Now to thicken this, I put in some regular breadcrumb, not seasoned.
That's what you use. Okay.
You know, when it's just about where you can't really stir it and it starts to lump together, take it off the fire and we'll cool it off.
Bingo.
And that really makes a nice flavor. So now we let the stuffing cool off
Cool it
in
off.
the refrigerator.
Typical restaurant style, so it's in one of these little
Plastic containers.
plastic delis.
Let's have a regular pastry bag. Tip cut. No point for, we're not doing pastry here. We're doing calamari, but unless you want to make it fancy. Let's see how it thickened up when it gets colder.
Yeah.
I like raisins. A lot of people don't like, but I like raisins. I don't know. How about
Yeah,
you?
The Sicilians, the Southern Italians cook with them all
You're a
the
fan,
time.
right? And see, the calamari is still whole. Sometimes people don't understand because you always see calamari cut up, made fried calamari.
Yeah, no, this is the sack,
Yes,
and this
yes.
is the tube, and in between's the little beak that it eats with, and this is how you clean them.
But we cleaned them out. There's usually like that piece of
Yes, that
plastic
crazy plastic thing in there.
that comes in. We cleaned it out. We washed these out, of course, and then we'll pipe this right in. Put it in here. We just fill it up. Pump it in. Get it nice and full, almost to the top there. And then, if you want to help me out here, we put the legs back in. You see the
Yeah, you got to put the toothpicks, because you
Put
and
the
I
toothpick?
know that as soon as these things get
Heat
hot,
up?
they swell up, and if you don't put a toothpick in, the stuffing just squirts out.
exactly.
Everyone's had that happen to them once or twice, and you feel like an idiot.
See,
Perfect.
nice big
Beautiful.
stuffed calamari.
Man, I can't tell you how happy these suckers make
Those
me.
are
And you
good.
know I'm eating one of these tonight. Just
You better believe
whenever
it.
we're sitting down, don't even ask me how my meal starts.
You don't have a choice.
No. It's so much work for me to make this at home. The sauce tastes great, so tell me how we're going to proceed from here.
Now what we do is make a sauce. We poach. We put a little garlic and oil. You can see
Yeah,
the
you can
slivers
see the
of
garlic on the
and
top
oil.
and some oil.
Then we poach it with some plain boiled tomato, which is like a marinara without garlic. We put a little bit of oregano, white wine, and this poaches for about 30 minutes. The calamari gets nice and
Yeah.
tender. All the flavors marry.
That's the marry. That's the beauty,
And-
man.
and
I always get my
number one
bread.
seller.
There's like nothing. Like you don't even have to run that thing through the dish sink.
That's
basically,
right.
just get it to 180. It's. I mean, that's delicious.
And this is our number one seller of
Good.
all of our seafood. That's the best seller.
I'm glad.
Been on the menu since 1944. I'm so proud to carry on the tradition.
That's what this place is about, isn't it? Tradition, isn't that the key word? We're here with Frank Dola, one of the faces to the restaurant. You guys are here
Hello, Mike.
7 days a week.
We are.
Lunch
We're
and
crazy.
dinner. So if I walk in and Sal's not here, if I walk in and his father Joseph's not here,
Right.
you're here.
Somebody's
There's
gonna be.
somebody's here, so you're the other face.
This is kind of fun because this is the fourth generation, which keeps us going. Talking to my cousin Sal a while back, and I said, you have two sons, I have two sons. If we want to get them involved, it's going to have to be a different angle. So Paul actually approached us. He graduated NYU, and he was excited about taking over the social media and redoing our website and throwing things at me like blogs and things that I never heard of.
Right.
And it's about a year into it now, and it's been great. It really has been. He transformed the website, and he's made it interactive, whatever that means.
Yeah, you're looking
And
at the
people
wrong
are loving
guy.
it. People are really loving it. And he's put videos on now and all kinds of stuff. So everything helps.
It's always nice to know when I walk in the door there's like a face that I know.
Somebody's going to be here. One
Someone's
of us
going to
will
be here.
here.
Someone's going to be here. Let
Thank
me
you.
in my t-shirt and jeans. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Mike.
So just apropos of absolutely nothing. We're filming today. You walked in. Your grandma was a music collector. So in you walk with this 1946-47 magazine that I've never heard of. That's full of music and musical stories. And in it is an ad for Patsy's from 50 plus years ago. And that's what brought you here today.
Yes, it is.
Amazing. Thanks for bringing this. Too cool. And welcome to Patsy's, and thanks, Grandma.
Thank you.
All right, so what do we have with the shrimp?
Okay, he's dishing out now. It's a classic Neapolitan dish, shrimp fra diavolo. Now it's a shrimp with a marinara sauce, a little spicy.
And can I just mention something? Portion sizes are a little small.
Yeah, what do you think about that? It's a couple of pounds,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, so this is part of the tasting menu.
That's one portion.
This is the amuse-bouche for the Fra Diavolo tasting menu.
And it's over the spaghetti.
Over spaghettis.
Classic Southern Italian dish.
Classic Southern
Shrimp fra
Italian.
diavolo. Follow me over. We're gonna put this in the pan. All right, I'm gonna get this pan nice and hot.
Put these
That's
back
for
there.
us. It's the boiling water for us. This is just to pan roast it. We're gonna like make it nice and crisp.
It's really cute. You can see the shell changing color already. You know, I love the way flavor in lobster develops like this. To me, this is the best way. Rather than boiling lobster, for me, when I cook lobster, this is how I prefer it.
You have to
I get the
saute it.
tails, I split them. I think I learned this from Chinese food. Like in Chinatown, when you eat lobster, it's always this way. Always cut in chunks and sauteed in a hot wok.
That's right. That's right. It's the best flavor that way. All right, ready to flip that?
All right.
See that color on that?
Yeah,
Mike?
it's
That's
beautiful.
nice.
Color's flavor, man.
Now, really, the main cooking was on that side. This, you just get a little more from the
Yeah,
bottom.
right. Brings it up from the other side.
Now, I have here prepared some marinara sauce.
It's your basic marinara, house made every day.
Basic marinara, garlic oil and tomato, a little salt and pepper, a little seasoning. You want to really cover up the lobster. And over here, I'm going to give some spice. I put some oregano, fresh basil, white wine. This is dry white wine. And here's the crushed red pepper. The crushed red pepper gives it the spice. And you can make, you know, we cook these to order, so people say, how spicy is it? I say it's as spicy as you want.
Right.
A little spicy, a lot spicy, or no spice.
That's where the Fra Diavolo comes from, the heat.
Fra Diavolo. And then I'm going to put a little bit again of our clam broth.
There's clam juice, clam liquid.
Clam liquid. We boil the clams and get some nice juice out of it. And that's going to cook in the sauce for about 10 to 12 minutes. Not beyond that, because then the lobster meat will get too tough. Now, you know,
How long have they been
time-wise,
in? I think another
about
2 minutes are done.
3 or 4 minutes.
We need a big plate for this. The big plate.
Of course, we serve it with pasta. Usually spaghetti or linguine. What a great dish.
What a great dish.
What a classic great dish. Lobster Fra Diavolo.
Save that, put a lid over it.
You got it.
About an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm gonna eat it room temperature. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Come to Patsy's. That's what's for dinner. All right, we're plating.
This is a great dish coming out now. I want to show you what he's dishing out. It's classic veal parmigiana with stewed potatoes. It's the way Grandpa Patsy used to serve it. This is a veal chop Sicilian style, medium rare. Veal chop roasted in the oven. Garlic, balsamic vinegar, touch of rosemary, little white wine, and oregano.
And how big's that veal chop?
That veal
14
chop,
ounces?
It has to weigh a pound. At
It's a
least
pound. That's 16 ounces. Huge.
This is one of my favorite dishes on the menu. This is lemon sole fruta de mare. We serve this all one. This is one portion right here.
That's one portion.
One portion.
Holy cannoli. I'm here with Juan. Guy's been here for 25 years. 25 years. Basically works 7 days a week. Backbone of the kitchen. And this is one of the things I love about Patsy's. This is roasted peppers. This is how you make roasted peppers. And I don't know how many pounds of roasted peppers they go through a day, but in most restaurants this size, they would buy these things jarred or canned. Perfectly good product. Most people can't tell the difference. I can, but at home I do them 4 or 5 at a time. These guys do 2-3 cases of pepper a day, old school. Burn them. It's got this fork. Look at this thing. This fork has been here. We don't know how old this is. ¿Cuántos años questo? 50 years old maybe. It's got this fork. Every time I come in this kitchen, I see this fork on. I hope it's here the next time. I'm always worried this fork's gonna get lost, but this is the fork he uses for these peppers. Takes him about 45 minutes to an hour to roast them. Then he's gonna bring them over, let them cool. He's gonna peel them. Patsy's, details, details, details. Go ahead, Juan.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Really impossible not to link this restaurant with Frank Sinatra, who also kind of thought of this restaurant as his home when he was in the city. You have a great story that I'd love you to tell about.
Sinatra came in, and my father greeted him, and my father had his business suit on. And so Frank said, "Oh, Joe, you look good, but you're not in your white. You have to cook for me. Who's cooking?" He says, "No, my son Sal took over the kitchen." So Sinatra says to my father, he says, "Let me see him." And I was cutting up an onion, and I hear the door swing open, and all of a sudden I look up, and it's Frank Sinatra's there. And I got a little startled, and I said, "Hello," and he says, "Make sure you cook as good as your pop does, all right, kid?" And I said, "Okay, Mr. Sinatra." When you look back at that, that's all he was trying to do, was make me feel at ease. It was so amazing, and to have him as a friend and as a customer for all these years, I will tell anyone who will listen to me, we would never be as successful as long as we were if it wasn't for him. And if you look downstairs on the wall with all the photographs of celebrities, one way or another, you can link them back to Frank Sinatra. Either brought him in directly or they heard he came here, and it's amazing.
When did Sinatra come on the radar?
The very first time I met him, he was brought in by Tommy Dorsey. And he walked up to my father, Tommy, and he says to my father, "Patsy, I got this skinny kid here. We got to fatten him up. See what you can do." And my father took care of him. That was in 1947.
Wow. But he had a period of 7 or 8 or 9 years where it was really rough for him.
And I remember he would come in, and he'd walk in and say to either me or my father, "Don't let me eat alone. Please sit with me." And that used to break my heart.
And there was that epic story, I mean, maybe one of the lowest of the low moments when you went to the Thanksgiving thing, because it's just such a classic, man.
He came in the night before Thanksgiving. He sat down, my father sat with him, we're talking. He says to my father after dinner, "Patsy, what are you going to make for me tomorrow?" My father didn't have the heart to say to him, "We're closed on Thanksgiving." He says, "Wait a minute." He says, he looked in the kitchen, he waved me out. And Joey, he says, "Come here." I came out of the kitchen. Frank Sinatra wants to know, what are you going to cook for him tomorrow? I picked it up right away, and I didn't say, "Well," I said, "Frank, you don't want turkey tomorrow, would you? Let me make you the chicken galantine." He says, "Joe, it sounds great." I said, "All right, fine." He said goodnight to us and walked out. My father walked over to the wall. There was a sign on there, "Closed Thanksgiving." He said to all the employees, "Bring your families here tomorrow." So all the employees had their Thanksgiving here to fill the restaurant. So when he came in, he looked at my father after having the chicken I made for him. He says to him, "Patsy, how come it's so quiet here tonight?" "Frank," he says, "who goes to an Italian restaurant on Thanksgiving?" Later on in life, when he found out about it, oh man, he appreciated it. Till this day, we still don't open for Thanksgiving.
And one of the things I love about this restaurant, this place just reminds me of some place in Brooklyn. Reminds me of a family-style place in South Philly.
We have many generations coming here, the ones that originally started with my father, with me, and now their children. It's unbelievable, but we're very happy. We continue to do what we did, what my father taught me.
Well, it's always great to see you with the door. Thanks for having us in today, and I'm really glad we got a chance
Michael, it's a pleasure and an honor.
to tell your story, bro.
Thank you. Thank you. And I mean that.
Well, thank you. All right, we've been talking. I really thought the end of the show, rather than me going back and making something, I'm here with the guy, 3rd generation recipes. Let's do Frank Sinatra's favorite dish, Milanese style meal.
But what's different about this, we do a little seasoned breadcrumb.
Classic oregano breading.
Really tasty, very versatile. I'm going to show you how to make that first. This is just plain,
That's plain
regular
old breadcrumb.
Parmesan cheese to it, pinch of oregano, some chopped garlic, a little bit of pepper, of course some salt. This is Italian flat parsley.
Yeah.
And this is what keeps it moist, extra virgin olive oil. Not a lot, but just enough to moisten it up. And now what you do is mix these ingredients together.
Couldn't be simpler.
You can see there's some moisture in there right now.
Right, it's not
which
totally
keeps
dry.
it
The oil just gives it a little bit of something.
moisture. These are our scallopini.
Yeah, these are beautiful. This is really nice milk-fed veal, white as can be. And we saw you butchering earlier, so
tender.
this is just super
Tender. It's from the veal hip.
Yeah.
That's the most tender piece. And this thing was, my grandfather told me this was made from a hull of a ship. I don't think they even make them this thick anymore.
That's a classic.
This is not so much for tenderization because it's already tender.
Shape.
Flat.
Thinness.
And
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra loved them very thin, paper thin. So we're going to try and go in that frame right now. This here was my grandfather Patsy used to use. I said, we better never lose this one. And customers that have been coming here that knew my grandfather. The greatest stories I can hear is when they sit, and I'll sit down with them. When they start talking about my grandfather, I want to sit down and say, tell me some more. I was very lucky. I got to grow up with him. I was 22 when he passed. So I got to know him the best, but still, you never want to see them go, no matter how old they are.
That's for sure.
Okay, so now we're going to show you the very simple preparation that we talked about.
This is this classic standard breading, so simple.
Simple flour, and that's so that the egg adheres to it. Just pat it off as much as you can. The egg, thoroughly coated, because now the egg is what's going to get the breadcrumb to stick. And the breadcrumb. With the back of your hand, just let it adhere to the cutlet. Simple, but so tasty.
Just perfectly evenly breaded, not too thick. Just a nice light dusting, everything stuck on that. All right, let's head over to the stove and do the cooking part. This has been on the menu since day one.
This on the menu since day one. It was a staple whenever Frank Sinatra used to come here. This is one of the things that would be on the table for sure. He really enjoyed it.
And people do this a lot of different ways. Some people serve it over salads, some people serve it over, I mean, classically it's kind of over salad with a little bit of lemon juice. How do you guys do it?
Well, the classic, like you're saying, a three-color salad,
Yeah.
arugula, endive, and radicchio with the veal. But for Frank Sinatra, he liked it just plain
On the plate.
with a little tomato sauce on the side. And flip them over.
Perfect color, golden brown.
Oh, the smell of that, I remember
Yeah, I love
growing
it.
up,
We
right?
used to, you can smell it down the street. On the, the windows are open.
People will come to your house, right?
That's right.
Those are ready. You see, nice and brown on both sides.
We're gonna go grab a fork and knife. I'm gonna do it Sinatra style, just a little bit of lemon and that's it.
Perfect.
Cut them over on the other side.
Enjoy.
All right. This is part of the show that always comes to the, you gotta eat, right?
I love it.
So I'm gonna,
This is my favorite.
You have a bite, I have a bite.
You
We
got it,
Two
Tom.
sets of forks and knives are gonna be total. It's freaking delicious. Mine's from my grandmother's cooking. I mean, it just has that flavor of like old school. Love
Thank
it,
you.
man. Thank
You're
you.
the best, my friend.
As always, back in a week with more madness, mayhem, and great food.